Hello everyone, named Lisa. JJ Movie 2 such as Game Reviews everybody, and now I want to give you my top 4 Hunger Game movies. I just seen Mockingjay Part 2 in theaters, and I thought, why not do the top 4 Hunger Games movies? So let's start off with the one on the bottom of the list. And just because it's on the bottom, doesn't mean it's the worst. I mean, it doesn't mean it's a bad film. To me, all the Hunger Games films are excellent. There's not a single bad one. I never read the books, so I didn't know what to expect. So let's start off with the number 1 list. It started in Hunger Games, the first movie. Though to me, this is my least favorite one of the bunch because all the other ones are so much better than the first movie. Here's the thing: this movie started off with Katniss Everdeen, how she sacrificed herself to be in the Hunger Games for Prim. I just love this futuristic time where basically the elite have put the poor against each other, and because they started rebellion, they sacrificed their children in the Hunger Games to watch them kill each other. It's so dehumanization of the people, and it's such a great characteristics of humankind, how we want the instinct to see murder before us. And I just think this film was pretty dang good. I like the games, I like how they dress them up, and then they give them interviews to see who's going to win, and people vote. And I just really like the whole concept of the Hunger Games. I enjoyed Peeta and Katniss' relationship. And this one, they're just two people who just needed to survive, and they decided to stick to each other. Was there a little sparkle up there? Yes, there was, but it's nothing that wasn't there yet. And overall, I just think this was a great movie. I think this was a fantastic movie. Out of a 10, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I love the first Hunger Games, but it's not my favorite. Alright, so number 3 will then be Mockingjay Part 1. Now, everyone seems to hate Part 1s of films. Me? Not me. I love freaking Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 1, my favorite Harry Potter movie. Yeah, I switched it, and we got freaking Mockingjay Part 1. And here's the thing with Mockingjay Part 1. This takes place right after Catching Fire, the rebellion's in full swing. Except it's not fully a world of war, world at war thing, because really it's just really a lot of propaganda shit. I mean, they do a lot of propaganda like this is the angle of the rebels, not the capital. And I just like how they did this stark contrast to the two sides of capital and the rebels, how they're using Peeta for the capital and how they're using Katniss for the rebellion, and how I just love the concept of them going back and forth between them, and slowly but surely you see how Peeta slowly starts to deteriorate and how he's starting to crack. And it's just awesome, this movie. I like the action in this movie. Even though it's kind of a little bit off pace, I just really like to see how Katniss has grown as a character. Granted, I would prefer to see more of Jenna Malone's character, but obviously her and Peeta are still locked up. So yeah, we didn't get Part 1 at all. Part 1 of a battle, but we got the build-up to it, and I thought the build-up for Part 1, Mockingjay Part 1, was excellent. Out of a 10, I'm giving it a 9.2 out of 10. It's my third favorite of Hunger Games movies. And my second favorite of all the Hunger Games movies is Mockingjay Part 2. A lot of people say, like, how come it ain't number 1 or how come it's so high? Here's the thing. When I saw this movie, I was utterly shocked today. It was awesome. This movie was just pound for pound action with some great dialogue moments. Some people say it was badly paced. To me, I thought it was greatly paced. I mean, of course, we had little nitpicks with this. Anyone can nitpick with this movie, but for closing for a Hunger Games, it was awesome. This movie has such a realistic tone of how different sides of war, they're the enemy. I don't care if civilians die and all that stuff. There's so many, and I love how Katniss and Peeta don't show the hypocrisy. It shows the hypocrisy of having a Hunger Games and having basically a war and the civilians and all that stuff. What's the line between right and wrong? And I just loved how they showed that in war, and it has such a realistic tone. This movie is very fucking depressing, very fucking dark, and I loved it for that. They didn't shy away. I like Part 2 of the Hunger Games ending more than the Harry Potter's and Deathly Hallows Part 2. I like that more than Deathly Hallows Part 2, even though I'm more of a Harry Potter fan than Hunger Games. I'm definitely more of a Harry Potter fan than Hunger Games, but still, Part 2 for the ending I thought was excellent, beautiful. I loved how in the end, that even though it drew so much tears and sacrifice and heartache, is there anything more beyond that? And I just loved how Mockingjay Part 2 just did it. They just did that at the end with Katniss, and if y'all know the movie, you've seen it. I don't want to spoil shit, but just because of what they had done was remarkable, and overall, it left me smiling a little bit at the end with a little heartache, because that's how life is. When you go through war and all this stuff, you're burying the dead ones you loved, and then is there a chance you can move on? And you can't. And I just thought Part 2 of Mockingjay was fucking excellent for that. Mockingjay Part 2 is a 9.6 out of 10 for me. Love that film. And my ultimate favorite Hunger Games movie is none other than Hunger Games Catching Fire. This is the movie that got me into the Hunger Games. I was amazed. Basically, Katniss and Peter are back to go to the Hunger Games. They're basically going to have to go again against all the victors. They're fighting against different ones. So we get the introduction of Finnick and Joanna Mason, which I just love both characters. I thought they were great introductions. What can I say about this film, Catching Fire? Just so many stuff about the victors, about different stuff about rebellion. Philip Seymour Hoffman, may he rest in peace. This was the movie that he started in, the last series of movies he was in, and it's sad to see him die in real life, but so may he rest in peace. But Catching Fire, going back again to this film, it was just non-stop amazing. I love the direction of post-traumatic stress disorder with Jennifer Lawrence's character, Katniss, everything. I love the relationship with Peeta in this movie. I thought it was fucking awesome. The only complaint I don't have about this movie is like how in the first Hunger Games movie that they showed how people are watching the Hunger Games and how they react. You saw how the people in it districts were rebelling. We saw how people in the capital were smiling at Katniss and Peter's relationship. This one we just see Snow's granddaughter. That's about it. But overall, Catching Fire is a fantastic movie. I love this movie. Out of a 10, it's a 9.8 out of 10. A near perfect film. I love the picture. I love the action. I love the dialogue. I love nearly every single thing about this film. So yeah, everyone, that's my top 4 Hunger Games movie. So again, subscribe if you like, disagree down the bottom, leave a comment down below, let me know, respect my opinion, I'll respect yours. And let me know what y'all think, because the Hunger Games series is ended. Hopefully there will be a prequel, or maybe a sequel, maybe not, of War. But I would like to see where Katniss' children has ended up. And yeah, sorry for spoiler alerts, but still, come on. Overall, top 4 Hunger Games movie. Like I said, just let me know what y'all think, everybody. Named Jalise, signing off. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.